In this chapter, we're going to introduce the subject of loops. And a loop is just a way in Python to execute a number of statements over and over again. First of all, let me show you the general form of the first type of loop we're going to study, and that's the while loop. So I'm going to open up a notepad file. And the while loop works like this. We start with the keyword while, followed by a relational expression of some type. And then inside the body of the while loop will be a set of statements, one or more. Usually at least one statement, and I'll explain why when we look at a specific example here in just a minute. So the concept behind a while loop is that while the value of the relational expression is true, execute the statements inside the body of the loop. And it's no more difficult than that. There's several different kinds of while loops we're going to be looking at. The two we're going to study primarily are called count-controlled, where we execute the statements in a loop a number of times, a predetermined usually number of times, and then also event-controlled loops, where the statements in a loop body are executed until an event occurs, or while an event is occurring. We're going to study these in more detail, both of these types of loops. But first of all, let's just look at a simple example of how a loop is written and executed. So we're going to create a script. We'll call it whileintro.py, would be the name of our program. And so what we're going to do is we're going to display the numbers 1 through 10. I know that's not very practical, but it gives me a chance to introduce the parts of a loop in a very simple example so you're not too distracted by what kind of computation I'm trying to perform. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce a variable and assign it the value 1. And we'll say number is our variable. And so what we want to do is print the numbers 1 through 10. So we're going to say while number is less than or equal to 10. And then we have a colon to indicate we're going into the body of the loop. Then we want to print the value of number. And then we want to increment number by 1. So we'll write number equals number plus 1. Before we run this, let's examine the parts. Here's our relational expression, while number is less than or equal to 10. So that's the condition that we're looking for. Then we print the value of number, and then we increment number by 1. This last line is very important because in a count-controlled loop, which is what this is, but in any type of loop, there must be some sort of statement that will eventually cause the relational expression to become false. Otherwise, the loop will just run and run and run, what's called an infinite loop. So this statement, number is equal to number plus 1, as we go through the values of number from 1 to 10, eventually number will become 11. And when number has the value 11, it will make this relational expression, number less than or equal to 10, become false because, of course, 11 is not less than or equal to 10. So let's run the loop to see how it works. We'll exit and save. And then we type in the name of the script or program. And there's our values, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And of course, going back and looking at the code again, right here, we see what happened. Number is 1, so we check the expression. 1 is indeed less than or equal to 10, so we print number, increment number by 1, go back and test again. And 2 is less than or equal to 10, so we print number, increment number by 1. Now number is 3, we go back and check the expression again, and we continue to do that until number becomes 11. At that point, 11 less than or equal to 10 is false, so we drop out of the loop to the next statement. There are no more statements, so the program stops, and the program stops printing after 10. So that's our introduction to the while loop. And now we're ready to move to the next lesson where we're going to examine in a little more detail the count-controlled loop.